Yo, 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 good morning, and let's run it. 6 a.m. Monday, let's hit it hard. Who's going strong? I've got an interesting episode for you today. This is called The Power of Identity. This is called The Power of Subconscious Identity. Now, there's a few kind of like loops of thoughts that I want to tell you, and before I forget, this is the first one. The first one is there's two main things I want to say in this video. The first thing is your subconscious identity is kind of where all of your inspiration and, in a way, like power comes from. It all comes from your subconscious identity, whether that's an empowered subconscious identity or a disempowered subconscious identity. We are in day 5 of the wave spell, which is like your core essence. I think day 5 is like your throat chakra, who you truly are to the core, that you are, expanding outwards to then launch that into the world. So the wave spell is the process of manifestation. I mean, honestly, it's how everything manifests. So you have a pulse, which is I want to be successful on school. I want to sell high ticket. I want to be worth more. I want to change or improve my life. Okay, that's why you're here. That's why you're on here. I have to keep reminding you what the fuck you're doing because people forget, right? Then that intention polarizes. Okay, then what do I need to do? Who do I need to become? You know, it's like the universe is then showing you, okay, well, it's a relationship and it's a connection to people, right? The second thing that I wanted to say is, if you want to have a dream life where you are paid from followers, subscribers, even coaching clients or members in a group that want to do things with you, events, trainings, right? Then you're in a relationship with your audience. Whether or not you understand that yet, or you're starting to figure that out, I think I'm finally starting to feel it. It matters. It's vitally important that you view it as you and your audience in a symbiotic, connection together. If you want them to give you their very best, then you have to give them your very best. It's a universe of mirrors. It has to be that way. So there's a time to support them, love them, give healing energy, give inspiration. But then there's a time to attack, their standards. You're not attacking the person, you're attacking their standards. You're attacking what they are holding to be true to themselves. Guess what, guys? Your identity changes throughout life, You start off as a kid. Well, I'm just a kid, then a teenager. Well, now I'm a teenager, then a young adult, right? Then, an actual adult. And then, by the time you're in your 30s, you're already like an old person, right? Life's already over. That's a funny thing. Like, you think that you're like young from like 18 to 25. By the time you're like 25, you already feel like you're getting old. Then by the time you're 30, you feel like life is over. So it's like you only got about 7 years of youth. And during that time, like, what the fuck do like young adults know about anything? So that's a funny thing about human beings. They don't allow themselves to like enjoy life and like learn and grow. Like they're too hard on themselves. They have this fake standard of success for a young adult. When you're a young adult, you don't know anything about anything. You don't know anything about business. You don't know anything about life. You think you're supposed to have it all figured out in such a crazy short amount of time. You never allow yourself to enjoy this experience. You never allow yourself to enjoy the process of growing up and maturing. You know what I mean? So it's okay to figure things out. It's okay for it to take time. You don't have to like beat yourself up about timing. I think that I very much feel the psychic energy of my group, of you guys, of my audience, and it's not just you present, it's also you future, because it's only going to get bigger and it's going to be more people. But I think it's helpful to understand that it's just one, it's like it's one person, you know, that audience that's active daily, that live kind of connection. It's like, imagine it's one person and I'm talking to that person, okay? That person struggles with burnout and exhaustion, they're hard on themselves, they're eager, but am I really being too lax with myself? Should I push myself? They struggle with the pacing of success. What is acceptable? What is unacceptable? Do I need healing or do I need activation? It's a difficult question, right? As an entrepreneur, like, you are the boss, like, you're the one in charge of your life. Okay. Everyone's looking up to you to follow your example. You know, almost every single person in my group has their own group, so you are also your own leader. Um, you know, so that's the interesting thing. We lead and then we are led. And it's funny when I join people's groups and they auto DM me. So often they want to step into this leadership role, and I find it to be slightly amusing and slightly obnoxious. It's like, I don't know. It's like people are so eager and desperate to like be this leadership authority in the first DM, and I'm like, I just greet them as a friend and as a stranger because that's what they are in the beginning. They have no idea, do I want your leadership or not? That's just how I am. I mean, I'm just like, dude, I think it's so funny and so desperate to like pretend to be this leader in the first auto DM that you send to a brand new people. Make sure you do this. Check the link because you think that that's what like a leader or like a boss like sounds like or like talks like, right? Make sure you do the onboarding process. Like, I don't even know you yet, right? Like, this is the first thing you're communicating to me. You're flexing the leadership energy. It immediately, my first impression is like, you're probably not a very qualified leader because I don't know. I don't think that's how people want to be talked to. Maybe some people don't mind, or maybe some people like it. But if it's a total stranger and they start trying to exert leadership onto me, I immediately resist. So people in my group are probably going to be of a similar personality. Like, dude, I don't even know you yet. Anyways, guys, so there's two things I wanted to say. The first is the subconscious identity is so real, guys. It's so powerful. I just kind of mashed on Odyssey, posting, making a joke, saying I'm still broke. Like, you got to understand that that is not your friend. That is not you. That is the source of all of your failure when you say little things like that. Like, trust me, I'm not unrelatable. I was homeless and on drugs, okay? You think I had any money, sleeping in my car? It wasn't that I was incapable of working hard. It was that my standard had fallen all the way to the point of like, I was not even there for myself. I was not even taking care of myself. I was completely down and out. So it's a mindset of suffering, but it's also a mindset of empowerment. Okay. I've risen from the ashes and I've made something of myself, and I continue to raise that standard even higher. Okay. To someone who makes $100 to $200 an hour all the time easily, is that person broke or struggling or suffering? No, not anymore. Making money has become easy. Now they're thinking about, who am I and like, what do I really want to do with my life? Now that I've come into more power, now that I've come into more confidence, now that I know I'm able to demonstrate superior, business skill, I'm constantly able to command a very high price, okay, compared to my competitors and, competition. Do you think someone like me tolerates a broke mindset? No, I don't tolerate that. I'm not gonna bash you over the head and like, destroy your emotions, but I'm saying like that is actually the curse. You got to really, really be aware of that. And it's hard because you're having to change your entire mindset and it's difficult, right? But I'm not going to throw someone like this out of my life. Listen, I've been in those shoes. I changed my mindset, okay? I have hope for anyone and everyone who has ever struggled financially. I'm not rejecting you. I'm showing you love, but I'm showing you that the problem is your not just your mindset, but what you're allowing, what you tolerate. If you tolerate these little white lies, there's just little outs. Well, I'm just a broke person. Okay, well then a broke person does not have a whole lot of like responsibility in life and is not an executive leader. Okay, so you don't see yourself as an executive leader. You see yourself as someone who's struggling, just trying to figure things out. That's fine. I'm not gonna. But you got to change your core identity. It really is like this mold. Like I see like an egg, right? And it fits into this like groove, like right, like a lock and a key. It fits into this cavity. Um, right? That's or like in Iron Man, that light kind of battery thing that fits into his chest to like keep the shrapnel out of his heart, but it's also like turbocharging his powers, right? So the weakness can become the superhuman power, right? What you thought was your crutch can become your, superpower. So, how do you help people out of that? Um, Dude, you just can't accept that, Out of love for you, I'm gonna attack not just you, anybody who ever says shit like that to me. Is that elite? Is that executive performance? Is that executive leadership? No, it's not, you know? Um, Listen, sometimes you just need healing, okay, or confidence in yourself, but it's like it's a very delicate balance from healing and your inner worth and like your self-esteem and then the burnout, because you have not really hardwired success and a standard into your core identity. Okay, this is really your core subconscious identity. I have dreams that I'm shopping for Rolexes in my mind. I've had dreams of palaces. Sure, I've had dreams of struggle in my subconscious mind, right? I'm not like acting as though I'm just going to be swept on to fame and fortune in excess, but I'm programming that, right? If I consciously could, I would, right? I'm doing everything in my power to manifest my dream life. My dream life, I am extremely influential and popular on the internet. I am very successful and rich. Okay, you got to claim that, man. Now, the subconscious only believes what it is reinforced with. So a lot of people try to just like fake it till you make it and act like they're successful when they've never achieved a fucking thing. And there's a couple people in my group, and I probably know who they are. I can tell, dude, because I used to be like that. I used to be so full of shit. I had never really done anything in my life and I was arrogant. I wanted the credibility and the power of success. I hadn't earned it. Okay? So arrogance is another side of the equation. When you think you're like you want people to think that you're really special, but your daily actions are not proving like elite success. Like you're not actually on the vibration that you wish that you were, and you're kind of salty about it, right? And you're petty about it and you're arrogant about it. Whereas if you were in total alignment, like what is the vibration of success, of unstoppable success? It is someone like me, dude. Who the fuck is doing 300 outbound a day? Like I'm pushing such a relentless pace that success is guaranteed. Like you can't stop someone who does this much, you know? And a lot of you guys are like a little bit dissolute. Hey, get out of here. You're bothering me. A lot of people are disillusioned because they think that it's all just like in your head. Dude, you only need to spend like 1 to 3% of your time doing mindset work. The rest of the day, you need to actually be doing real fucking work. That's what reinforces your subconscious language. Okay, so well, let's look at 3 examples. Me when I was totally broke and like homeless and on drugs and like totally suffering. Me when I'm starting to function, doing a little bit better, but totally arrogant, wanting to claim the identity of super success, but I was not demonstrating superior performance output, guys. That's my core identity: superior output and performance. That's who I am to the core, and you have to reinforce that. What makes you think that? Why do you think that? Or what does it mean to be like that daily? Dude, I am really trying to push myself to like 12, 14-hour days, 300 outbound comments on school, posting magnets in all of the relevant groups, the very best I could do to get pinned and create a viral discussion so people notice me. And you're also doing that on all your other social media platforms. You're trying to get as much spotlight as possible to grow your community size, and you're growing the number of people who are following you, who are curious about you, who are bought into you, who are on your team, who are rooting for you, but you're also giving them the exact same support that you wish to receive from them. Do you understand? This is what's taken me this entire time to figure out about social media. It's a living relationship with your audience as like another person. Everything that you do for them is going to come back to you amplified, whether that's positive or negative, right? So if I'm just a toxic asshole and I'm always just like treating my audience like shit, then that's an unhealthy relationship, and they're not going to want to like come back for more, unless they're very like masochistic. Why would you want to come back for even more punishment, you know? But it's tough love to say, look, if you need healing and resting and there's burnout, and I know you want to push yourself to this elite standard, but you feel this wall in your heart. I know what that feels like, guys. Then you have to understand that healing is actually the requirements for inspired, activity. And to be in a superior grind, I don't want to lose you guys, like, in your head when I talk like this. I know I can tend to drone on. But anyways, like, you know what I mean? You got to get yourself out of a rut in your own mind. And this is done through healing and spirituality, gratitude. You can heal your soul. Your soul will heal you. Healing is a byproduct of tuning into your soul. But you still have to program that in and schedule it in. You still have to do it. Everything good in life comes from action. Okay? You still have to do the mindset work. You still have to do the spiritual practice for healing, raising your consciousness, right? You still have to catch yourself when you get triggered. Like, okay? And, I am operating in alignment and authenticity with my truth. If you say things where I think your mindset can be improved, and I'm pinpointing your weakness and I'm exposing it, and I'm going to kind of attack it, because you need to do better than that. Stop acting like a broke person. Fucking apply yourself. How many hours a day are you working? Like, you can't be too hard on people. I know if you're a mom or a parent, you don't have as much time, but a successful person does not make excuses for themselves. A successful person, some of the richest men in this planet come from total poverty. Andrew Carnegie, John Rockefeller, dude, they had poverty to the point of like, we don't even know where our next meal is going to come from. That's real poverty, right? Not even being able to get food, okay? or having to beg for it or something, that's poverty. And that can either crush your mindset or it can create a very powerful mind. I'm not going to allow that to happen. I'm willing to fight. You got to really dig deep and fight, man. This is survival, right? You're just going to like let it go, right? And then people just go into like crazy amounts of debt and then, just like get stuck in this rut. It's all just imaginary numbers anyways. You lost the fight, man. You lost the edge. Why? Because it is your subconscious core identity. What are you relaying back to yourself? Are you just some corporate dweeb kind of loser, trying to like build this hobby? You're trying to be this influential person, but you feel like you're a phony. That does not feel like that is your integral core identity. Why not? Because you're not doing what it requires. If you're slipping or not. You don't need someone to tell you that, dude. It's just you guys have lower standards than me, okay? And I'll say that, and that sounds a little bit arrogant. I have a higher standard, dude. I fight so much harder than you. I put so much more that I have into this than you. I put everything that I have into this, man. Like, you need to see some commitment, man. You need to see some conviction. Like, I'm still waking up at 6 a.m. I'm giving my very best to my fucking group and to you guys. Like, my heart and in my soul, when you guys feel so fucking exhausted and burnt out, and I'm taking on that energy and I'm doing my best to heal. And, it's not just you, it's me, it's all of us. We all suffer. We all get burnt out, okay? You're going to heal until the healing is complete. But the problem is the time delay from when the healing is complete to then you getting busy again, okay? There needs to be zero time delay. Okay, the healing is complete, immediately get back to work. Okay, that's the problem that you guys have. But maybe there's still just like a little bit left that I need to heal. No, you're actually being lazy now. But maybe I just a couple more days. No, because if you take a couple more days off, then you're going to want to take a couple more days off. Do you know what I'm saying? If you give yourself 1 or 2 extra days of being a slacker, you're perpetuating the habit of being a slacker. That's why you call yourself a broke loser. Okay, you need to cut that shit out, Or, I'm just gonna start pulling random people who are in my community. I'm gonna pull them into my mind. Let's think. Okay, maybe one person is like retired. At least a couple of them are like retired. Okay. Well, then, you got to figure out like what is your source of life and like identity for the rest of your life. If you really want to have contribution to humanity, I mean, I don't know. Like, I just think like being like tired and like retired is like a waste of potential. Even our president is like 80 years old, working his ass off. Like, so just because you can afford to retire, I feel like when you retire, you expire, You've totally lost your edge, You've been in a habit of just like sleeping in or just hanging out. I'm not going to tell you what to do with your life because it's your life. You achieved it. I'm just like, isn't there more that you could do? I don't think I'll ever retire. I enjoy being productive. I enjoy working hard. So that's what's interesting to me. You slave your entire life away to like build success, and then you have the exit or the retirement, and then you totally lose meaning. Was all of that work just to have some money or status or to be able to then take time off? Isn't there a greater meaning of life than that? Like, I don't know. What's the meaning? You define the meaning. Guys, this episode is called Your Core Subconscious Identity. Well, I achieved success, and so I'm just enjoying life, and I'm grateful. It's like, okay, but like, there's still more you could do. You could serve more. You could serve better. You could do more than this. I just challenge people to their highest and ultimate standard, right? In my masculine, in my feminine, I'm holding down the space. Sometimes it's healing. Sometimes it's connection. Sometimes you lose inspiration and hope. And that's another problem that we have to address in the group. Like, I can feel it literally, psychically in me, as though it's me, and I know it's not me. But it's like, or if it is me, then I'm working very hard to change this about myself, right? So that I can become the supreme version of myself. That's the core essence, guys. Your ultimate self, your Super Saiyan self, your ascended self, your avatar self, your divine, perfect self. That's my core identity, you guys. Like, okay? I feel like people have lost their inspiration. I feel like they have lost their spark. I feel like this has become very boring and they just don't want to do it. So they're letting it all get away from them. I think this is the dominant subconscious language of my group. You know, at least half of you guys, I have to address this, right? For your own good. For your own good. If you follow me, like I'm a psychic, dude. I can literally tell what you guys, how you guys feel. I feel it in myself as though it's me. And I know that it's not me, but I know that for me to create my dream life, I have to help you as best as I can, even if a lot of the times that's for free, because eventually it's going to pay me. And I just know that and I just believe that, right? You have to believe that. If you can't believe that, then fuck it. There's no point, unplug now, delete school now. If you're not willing to back that up and like actually program that into existence, then you don't want life, right? You're just succumbing to death, really. If you're not choosing life, then you are dying, you are decaying, you're withering away. Okay, are you withering away or are you full of fire and life? All right, anyways, you guys are losing, my nose is really itchy now. Probably because I'm making you guys uncomfortable with this, but it's the fucking truth. Like, you're losing inspiration. It's becoming boring. You really have this kind of like mild depression about everything. You don't have the core identity of success and influence and popularity. That's what you're saying. I'm influential, I'm popular, and I'm successful, and I'm going to do it in this exact way that is extremely rare and amazing, and it's not easy, and only a very small percentage of people ever pull this off, and I'm one of them, and I did it, right? And I have that pride. Okay, well, you have not done it yet. You hold on to this identity, right, that may not actually be real. Then, guys, this is where you have a fork in the road. If you don't actually do what is required to manifest this, there's a vibration now, right? You cast that image, you cast that mold. I'm saying I am a successful, influential person with a thriving school business community, getting followers, getting new members. I'm winning, right? They're valuing me, I'm valuing them. Okay, you're casting that mold into the universe, right? This is the dream code. Today is day 5, night. Night is the code of dreams and abundance. It's really powerful to cast your intentions. Be very careful about what you're saying on night day because it's really is like a portal of manifestation. Okay, so I'm casting Supreme Self as I have been casting this vision. Okay, but then you have a fork in the road, right? I know I'm already losing like probably 75% of you guys by now. Maybe nobody even watches this, but if 1 or 2 people watch this to the end, then that's good enough for me. Like, dude, if you don't do what you know you're supposed to do, then you're failing and, you're invalidating that identity. You're creating a new identity, but that identity can only be reinforced through your physical action. And it's through your commitment. And I keep saying this over and over and over again. You need to commit like 90, 95, 100% of yourself. That means it's Monday, clock is ticking. I'm either going to do lead generation or I'm not. But if I don't, then I subconsciously I will know that I'm failing my core identity, my intention and my desire to be influential, successful, and popular on the internet. Dude, if you're not going to bust your ass, you don't deserve it. You just don't deserve it, man. So you're a liar, you're a fraud, and you're arrogant, and you're full of shit. And I've been guilty of that as well. That's why I'm qualified to tell you this and walk you through the steps. Dude, I've been totally down and out. I've also been full of shit, desiring greatness, but not actually working relentlessly to become that and to achieve that. So the problem is you guys are suffering a little bit in the heart. You're feeling a little bit of this kind of depression and burnout. I understand that. We're healing through that. But the problem is there is that specific window of time. Do you really need more healing, or are you just kind of being lazy? Okay. You are actually just being kind of lazy. Okay. If you just need healing, you're probably not even going to watch this video. So if you're watching this video, it means you're probably on that threshold. I've been healing this wave of energy, right? I put a enormous amount of like pink energy into, the cybersphere last week. And I felt the energetic repercussions of that. And it's exhausting. And you feel the blocks and you feel the suffering and you feel the depression. But if I really am in a symbiotic relationship with my audience and my following, as that only increases, then I have to do that for them because I can tell that that's what they need me to do for them, right? But now that need is changing because we're getting out of the blocks and out of that depression, and then we got to get back to work, man. So the problem is you spend too much time in this kind of, well, I need more healing, I'm depressed, I'm kind of just blocked, I'm kind of stuck, right? Yes, but the moment that you're out of that, the moment that you're able to like now get recommitted, you got to get back to work, man. You got to hit it. I take you to an intense standard. I take you to an intense level of output because this is the output that is required for you to actually transform your life, guys. It's not about how much money you're making or getting an emoji or not, or, having a certain number of followers or not. It's about the core identity subconsciously that you're programming in yourself and into this universe. Today is a very powerful day. In conclusion, my videos tend to be between 30 minutes to an hour long. I'm trying to help you get onto the vibration of success. So if you really want to be on this vibration, man, you should watch my vlogs every day. I'm tuning you in to the energy of the day and towards the vibration of actually achieving your true potential. Like my identity that I'm programming is my higher self, my higher consciousness, my divine self, my avatar self, my ultimate self. My ultimate self is wealthy, popular, influential, really serving, really helping people, and people are appreciating that. And more people are coming, right? More and more people are following, more and more people are opting in and, buying. And so I see it very clearly. It's just one relationship, and you and your community, you and your audience. It is one relationship with you and them. Okay. What do they actually need from you? And at which point do we have to pivot to the energy from like a feminine kind of healing, kind of holding down the space, kind of like, how are you doing? Emotional check-in, spiritual check-in. Are you okay? Are there blocks? And then at which point do you have to pivot to the masculine? Okay, now it's time to fucking get to work, man. Like you've been healing for long enough, right? And then it's like, well, maybe just a couple more days, right? Because it's so easy to go from like a healing era to a procrastination era. And I got to let that sink in. It's so easy to go from I'm just healing this burnout to like, no, you're kind of being lazy, man. You're playing too many video games. You're just coasting. You are not in an alignment to make your dream come true. You're failing the mission. When I go into crazy mode in my masculine, psychotic, abusive rager Lux. By the way, I got the URL Lux. Nobody had claimed it yet. So now I'm school.com/Lux. I got the URL, baby. Dude, because that's who I am. Lux is my higher self. Lux is my avatar self. Like, That's my core identity. I am Lux. I am, this person. Anyways, all right. So, in conclusion, dude, I know some people are suffering, some people are healing, getting out of this kind of depression, getting out of these blocks. Okay. You got to do what you got to do, but you need to be hyper aware of when you're out, because you will get out of this rut. You have to get out of this rut. It's inevitable. Eventually, you will heal out of this rut. That's when you really got to attack your schedule, man. You guys are like not even wanting to do any lead gen. You're not doing anything. Your productivity is a fucking zero, right? My productivity is like 300%. I'm doing 3 times more than probably what is required for success on here. I'm moving 3 times faster, you know? I ran out of groups to scrub, so I just joined like fucking 10, 20 new groups. Then they all auto DM me like they are leaders, and it's just kind of funny to me. I just think that's such a stupid thing to DM somebody, like, make sure to do this, start here. I'm like, do you actually like being talked to that way? The way that you're talking to people, do you like it when people talk to you that way? No, I don't. What's my auto greeting? I say, hey, name, welcome to the group, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. Thank you for joining. That's all I say. It's just gratitude, love, and it's a feminine message. I'm happy you're here. I'm happy to expand the group. I'm not going to fucking lead you unless you want me to, right? Unless you decide that I'm qualified or you enjoy my content, my energy. I'm not going to fucking tell you to do anything unless you want me to. Do you understand what I'm saying? If you want me to, then you start watching my content every morning. Dude, I'm taking you to the vibration of success. You got to have a relentless fucking energy about this, man. Okay? So we've healed most of this kind of, burnout. It's time to get busy, man. It's time to get fucking busy. Why? Because it's you programming your core identity and your desired outcome. The night code is very powerful for this. And it's day 5, which is central expression, central identity. I'm just mashing on this. I'm saying the same fucking thing like 12 times in a row. I've already said the same thing now like 15 times in this episode. But dude, it's a habit. It's a habit, right? If you are not habitually winning, if you are not habitually on the vibration of success, then you may need somebody's professional help to get on that frequency. That's what I do. Okay? I'm doing my very best for you guys to show up, provide support when you need support, be a friend when you need a friend, give you love and healing when you need, love and healing through the burnout. But once we get out of the burnout and you've had a rest, dude, it's time to get back to work, man. You guys are all just kind of tired. You're giving up. You're giving up on your school dream. I have to inflict some pain now to motivate you, man. Because you're already suffering when you're giving up and you're just kind of being lazy. You're already suffering, dude. Like, you're not doing what you know you need to do. You need me to get crazy. And then you throw a little bitch fit about it. And then you get mad that I use negative energy. Bro, you're already in a negative state of failing and exhaustion. Right? I am in a much more powerful negative state and a much more aggressive negative state because I have the power to do what needs to be done and you don't, or you haven't been. So who's winning right now, me or you? One person has power and energy and aggression, is constantly driving relentless, perfection, healing when it needs to be healed, activating when it needs to be activating, doing fucking everything in his power to make this dream come true and giving everything that he has to this group of people. Okay, why would that guy not deserve to win? The only reason he would not deserve to win is if he is being lazy and is taking too much time off and he's not doing what he's acting like he's doing. He's acting like he's a 10 out of 10 supreme champion, working 12, 14-hour days. Is he actually doing that? That's the only differentiation. That's the only variable. If he's doing it, then yes, he deserves to win. Let him win. If he's not, then you're a liar, and you're just acting like it, but you're not actually doing it, right? You're the only one who's going to know that. And I think your audience can tell. They see your energy, dude. They see your active performance. Bro, I'm pushing so hard. Like, and social media, this is the last thing I'm going to say. Social media is such a different business than my other businesses or just like sales or even a marketing job, like even a marketing agency. Like, because it's impersonal, right? That's a very impersonal, like, kind of business. You're not like giving tremendous amounts of yourself to other people. There's no direct like interface directly into other people's like subconscious mind. I mean, really, guys, this is a business. If you want to do this school thing, coaching thing, social media thing, client relations thing, you're plugged in directly to the hearts, minds, souls, subconscious mind of your audience. If they're actually watching your content and plugging into you, that's a very, very close, proximity. Okay, directly into your subconscious mind. Listen, I believe in you. First of all, I believe that you can achieve success. You can do it. Okay. There's a lot of reprogramming, there's a lot of restructuring, right? We have to get rid of like mindsets that did not serve us. We have to have boundaries for people that were not really good for us. We have to heal through the pains that made us a little bit jaded or, sad or hurt. You have to work through that. Then once you work through that enough, it's time to activate and get busy, man. People are lacking inspiration, but truthfully, they're lacking dedication and commitment. Okay, do you have to feel inspired all the time to just fucking log in and like actually just do things? Just like do things. Talk, I don't care how you feel, man. Talk to 300 people a day, right? You have to overpower the resistance with just a command, and then you have to do what the command tells you to do. That's why most of you guys are not bosses, you're employees. You don't do what you tell yourself to do. Why would you be the boss if you can't even follow your own orders? And nobody's going to take you seriously, right? Do you do what you tell yourself to do, man? I need you to do 300 outbound today, and it's been a while because you've been in this kind of weird, kind of blocked rut. Okay, I think we're finally out of it. It's time for you to get back to it. That's why I show you guys my daily stats. I'm showing you living fucking proof of how you do this. I'm doing it at the same time as I'm showing you how to do it, right? I'm leading by example. So I'm staring directly into the fucking camera because I feel like I'm connecting to somebody right now, in the future or in the present. Like, dude, it's not even about wanting this. It's not even about like, yes, I want this, okay? But there are days where I don't want to anything. Right? There are days where I don't feel any desire or motivation, okay? So then what keeps me going on those days? What keeps me going is then the least I can do is to try to just be present for you. The least that I can do is try to be present for you guys because I may not even be motivated to do it for myself. So sometimes the only thing that motivates me is to try to be useful and of service, whether or not you even believe in your value, then you do your absolute best for them. Okay? This is a relationship business. This is a client relation business. This is you and them, two people, right? In a relationship. What do you need, right? What can I do for you? How can I help you? What do you need me to say right now? Where are you at right now? Okay? I think we've all been kind of in this burnout rut phase. We're getting out of that. Now it's Monday. It's time to get back to work, man. So I need you to hit your number of outbound a day. I need you to try to post some interesting viral lead magnets. I need you to join new communities that you're going to go through and post in and make friends and build relationships. That's how you recruit supporters. We're recruiting supporters to come join our community. We're making content. We're trying to get more supporters also in terms of followers on other platforms and in school. Okay? Them joining my school community is the number one result. Okay? A follower on another social media platform is good, but I would like them to also join my community, right? And then eventually I would like them to hire me or buy some of my products, or consider a premium membership at some point in time. Okay, guys, this is what you're doing. This is a business, but this is also a calling. This is who you are meant to become. This is who you are supposed to be. But if we do not actually do what we tell ourselves to do, then it's easy for us to go into pretend mode, and then you're arrogant and you're a fake, you're a fraud, you're a phony. The only thing that makes this real is your daily dedication and commitment to excellence, guys. I am trying so hard to give you the very best of who I am and what I have. What I have is I am pretty good at healing. Okay, I spend a lot of time prioritizing spirituality and wellness, but I'm also equally, if not even better, at discipline and fucking hitting my numbers, guys. That's all you have to do, but it's so hard because, they're suffering and then they procrastinate. They say they need more healing, but it's not true. They actually need more activation. Okay, when you need healing, you go get healing. When you need activation, you go get activation. Right now, I think you guys all need more activation. You need to run your numbers. If you're not even tracking your numbers, you don't even have a business. Okay, once you're tracking your numbers, you need to try to be as consistent as possible because you want this to be a habit. A habit is a momentum that carries you when you don't feel like it. The habit is you building future momentum to carry you through the days where you're not that motivated. That's what a habit really is. It's like a savings account of energy that you will pull upon on the days where you're not feeling that motivated. Do you know what I'm saying? So the habit is us making continuous deposits into our future potential, right? That carries us, you can make withdrawals from the habit if you're feeling like, man, I'm just really dragging today, right? This is the habit that's carrying me forward to immediately go into execution. Because look at my fucking calendar, dude. Those are all the 300s that I've done this month. A lot more than you. You probably did 0 300s. Okay, you probably haven't even done that many 100s. Okay, number of outbound, comments or DMs. I guarantee you, most of you guys probably haven't even fucking done 50. Do you really have a school business if you're not even doing 50 to 100 outbound? And how many times did you post? Right? We can have a big number on that calendar on that month, and that's the number of even posts that I made. How many times have you even posted in your group and in other people's groups and then on other social media platforms? That's all you fucking have, man. You're just trying to increase that number. Okay? Is there anything left I need to tell you guys? I don't think so, right? Get clear. It's your subconscious identity that you are imposing into the mind of God, the mind of the universe, but it's only going to manifest if daily we are consistent with this identity shift. Okay? Otherwise, you go back to the old identity. And what's the old identity? Well, I'm trying, but I'm kind of dabbling, but I'm kind of half-assing it, but I need a little bit more healing, but I'm also kind of just procrastinating. Is that what you want your core identity to be? Because that's what it is right now. We need to come up with the word for that. What do you think, monkey? What's the word for that? Fucking Slackerville is what it is. Slackerville. You're going to move out of Slackerville, and we're going to move into elite performance. That is a 5-star community, okay? That is a diamond. We're going to move out of Slackerville. It's the sleepy emoji. It's the emoji with the Z's. We're going to move out of that emoji, and we're going to move into the diamond emoji. Bro, it's time to fucking work, man. Get your ass back online, look for inspiration, try to find, guys, you have to create inspiration. You can't just wait for motivation to come. You can't just wait for energy to come because it will never come. You have to create it. The human being is capable of channeling and creating energy even when there is none. That is what makes us spiritual beings. That is what makes us divine beings. You can literally pull in energy from your soul when you don't feel like it. You can still generate it. That's really what separates winners from losers on this planet. A loser, they wait for energy. They wait for inspiration. They need it from others. Sometimes you hire someone because their energy is going to help you make even more money. That's my sale, guys. You hire me if your intuition tells you you probably should hire Benjamin. His energy, you're going to take my energy and you're going to flip it to make more money and to have more momentum, right? I'm giving you an upfront amount of momentum and energy boost, and you decide if that's valuable, then I can use that energy and that relationship and those skills to set the habit, right? You need me to help you set the habit in motion. You can get a little bit of motivation from my free content and my vlogs, but if you really want a serious fucking change, then you should hire me. Find a way to find the money and then pay me for it. We're going to blast your momentum. I'm showing you the momentum of supreme success daily. You're seeing me do it every single day, right? Are we healed? Yes, mostly. Okay, time to get back to work, man. Time to log in. So let me show you over the next fucking 12 hours what a supreme fucking champion does on a Monday, right? When everybody else is still burnt out and they just need a couple more. Can I just sleep in for a couple more hours? No, get the fuck up, dude. You're failing. You're failing. You're failing. Okay? Are you? Are you winning? I'm winning.